So, first plane crash?
What gave it away?
Now you can always spot the newbies.
Claire Littleton was alone at the time of the crash, but found a friend in Charlie Pace.
They had a very interesting relationship. So many moments were so sweet, like the peanut butter jar.
Peanut butter?
Just like you ordered.
Thank God it was fake peanut butter, because I'm terribly allergic. So I'm reading that, I'm like, oh great, the one thing I can't eat.
Extra smooth. The best bloody peanut butter I've ever tasted.
She's very sweet, doesn't hold grudges kind of girl, but has this just incredible sort of inner strength, having to deal with being pregnant and having a child in not the comfiest location for that to happen, I would imagine.
Claire, what are you doing out here? Nothing, just leave me alone, please.
One of the episodes that I walked away from and thought, holy crap, that was so good. It was the episode where Boone dies and little baby Aaron is born.
Ready? Come on, one more. Push, 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 push.
You know, the death and the birth and the falling away of one thing to give life to a new thing. It was just executed so dramatically. That was a really special episode.
You know, Charlie has become sort of the surrogate father for a child. The three of them kind of comprise the closest thing to a nuclear family that exists on Lost.
I love you.
What are we looking for again?
Any long piece of metal or plastic tubing, anything that looks like it'll work as a frame.
The first really profound moment of the show was at the end of the first season when we had the raft launch.
I thought it was pretty great. You know, pretty seaworthy. I mean, it was a raft. Those guys made it out of materials that they found and could have been on the islands.
It was actually more stable than the camera boat.
It's coming together fast.
You know, the raft was this real measure of hope for the show, the idea that they could actually get off the island.
I felt like it was a culmination of all the work that people had put in for a very difficult year. And I felt like it was a celebration of where the show started from and where it had come.
It's one of those moments where you really understand that making a television series is an incredibly collaborative effort.
Go, go, go!
It's about literally 300 people doing something in unison. You know, we had written the scene, but then you see the film and you see the way Jack Bender executed the scene, and then you see the emotion that all the actors brought. Then on top of that, we went to the scoring stage with Michael Giacchino, and the cue was so beautiful that when it was over, everybody was crying because it was playing and the images of the raft launch were going on, and they all started tapping their bows against their instruments and clapping, and it was just this profound emotional moment.
To see the magic of television make that into a scene that became as epic as it was, you know, it's almost mythological. It's almost like Homer taking off on his Odyssey. It's a heroic journey. It was awe-inspiring for me, literally awesome.
The story of Lost required a unique backdrop where its dramatic tale of survival and mystery could unfold. The island of Oahu in Hawaii proved to be the ultimate location.
When I got this job, I said, honey, we're going to Hawaii. She said, where is that? And we looked on the map, and we looked at the Pacific and thought, geez, that's it? That's in the middle of nowhere.
Hawaii's been amazing. It's a perfect set for our show.
That's your island.
I really enjoyed that. So much of the show is shot outdoors.
It has incredible mountains. The weather can be beautiful, but it can turn. You can have incredible rain.
Storm's about to pass, Hugo.
The sea can be treacherous.
It can be really, really tough. You're in mud up to your ankles, or you just spend a ton of time in the sun, and, you know, the crew has just been absolutely amazing. I mean, there have been days where I just don't know how the equipment gets in and how the equipment gets out. It's not easy, but it's worth it.
Beautiful, isn't it? No matter how much time you spend on the island, you just never get tired of this view.
This landscape is a character in the show. I don't know when I'll ever work in as magical an environment as I have done here on Oahu.
In the 121 hours of the series, All but 4 scenes were shot in Hawaiian Islands.
Just looking back, I think we did a pretty good job being sort of all over the world and shooting everything right here in Hawaii.
Is this your first time in Tunisia?
No. From the acting point of view, that kind of production design is, like, to me, 75% of the battle.
Welcome to Iowa.
And the fact that they managed to do it here, you know, in downtown Honolulu, to create Germany, you know, Eastern Europe, the mind boggles. It was very daring to allow characters to move between those worlds.
허락하셨어.
What? In the history of American television, we've never had a television show with half of 42, minutes being subtitled.
이거요. 간단한 영어를 발음대로 적었어요.
Every Korean person understands some words of English.
Ow! 무슨 일이에요? I stepped in a friggin' urchin!
You know, my task when I was listening was to pinpoint the words that I thought that Jin would understand.
You're gonna have to pee on my foot, man. Just pee! Pee on it!
No!
Pee on! No!
So that he could hook onto those words and give him the appetite to stay in the conversation.
I guess that falls under the category of be careful what you wish for. You understood me. You did, didn't you? You just understood what I said.
Sun was this mysterious, very traditional, even submissive at times, who was sort of trapped in a horrible marriage.
내가 어디로 가든지 꼭 따라와. 알겠지? This guy was really mean to his wife. He only spoke Korean and just was not a very pleasant guy to be around. And I thought, well, I don't know if I want to do this. I'm so glad I did.
It's been so much fun playing her.
What's wrong?
What's wrong is I'm married.
And keeping up with her and all of her secrets.
빨리!
Despite language barriers and marital strife, life on the island brought Sun and Jin closer and offered them hope for a new chapter.
You're pregnant.
Is the baby mine?
His evolution has been pretty marked and pretty significant.
그리고 내가 어떤 남자였는지도 잘 알아. 무슨 일이 있어도 당신과 우리 아이를 지켜줄 거야.
자기는 사랑해.
Whether they were happy or unhappy, it was a love story that I think a lot of people cared about.
It was almost comical for a little while. You know, every possible obstacle you could throw in the way of two people getting back together.
You don't want them to go, do you?
No.
We were going to be islands apart, and then we were going to be literally decades apart.
Having Sun and Jin be apart for a good 2 seasons, not only in space but time, I think it really drew the viewers to root for them to get back together and have a happy ending.
They had a lot of faith in each other and themselves to keep searching.
But Sun and Jin were not the only survivors to find themselves separated.
At the end of almost every season, they would split up the tribe somehow.
If you want to live, you need to come with me.
I guess our first big split was some people were going to live in the caves and some people were going to stay on the beach. And then Exodus. So people go off on a boat and some of us go marching to the Black Rock. And for a long time, at the beginning of season 2, it was like we were working on 2 different shows. And then eventually, they rejoined us and then we're back together again.
Like our characters on the show, we were brought here from all over the world to this beautiful Hawaii island.
We became best of friends because we were sailing on this ship together and it was doing well and we were just getting to know each other. And as our relationships deepened, I felt like we became family.
Those closing montages that we had a lot where you just kind of pan across everybody and Saeed throwing the apple and shaking sand out of my shoes. Those are nice. I love these guys kind of moments.
I'm probably most intrigued by faith. I like being on a show that just talks about faith as a general idea, about just really, really believing in something, about having heart enough to step forward physically in faith.
Why do you find it so hard to believe?
Why do you find it so easy?
It's never been easy!
In Locke said, I'm a man of faith, you're a man of science. I always thought he was a man that was desperately seeking faith, not that